Welcome back to my channel. As we're seeing our economy slowing down a little bit, as a real estate agent or as an investor, we're going to have to get creative. We're going to have to find some creativity in how we're going to get deals done. And one of them might be lease options. So I asked John Jackson, he's a king of lease options, to come on today and really walk us through the opportunity that might lie there. So make sure you check out the video and give us a like. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Joe Killinger. I've been a real estate entrepreneur for over 20 years. And I use this platform to bring on guys like John to really walk us through tips and tricks that really help them find success, and hopefully for you as well. So make sure you check out the video, give us a like, and if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe. Well, John, thank you for coming on. This lease option, you'll have to forgive my ignorance on this. I'm not that well versed on it, so I'm going to ask some dumb questions. I'll advise you ahead of it, so don't begrudge me too much. But I think it is something, especially in with residential, the state of the economy, there could be some real opportunity out there right now. And so I thought it was key to get you on here today and really walk through how we can benefit our viewers. We have a real focus on people that want to become real estate investors or real estate agents, but I think today is going to be great for people that want to become a real estate investor and really start off, little money down, little risk. I think this is a great way to really get started. So thank you for taking the time and coming on today.
Yeah, glad to be here, Joe. I know we've tried a couple of times to connect, and I'm excited that we finally connected.
You bet. It's great. And you're in one of my favorite states, Texas. You got a lot of stuff going on, so you got to be in a hot market.
Yeah, so I'm in Texas. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which I wish it was called Fort Worth, Dallas, but that's just me.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. So, but I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we do most of our deals that we do are in Texas. The majority actually down in Houston. Now I've got students across the country, so we do deals all the way from a condo in Honolulu all the way to stuff in New York with my students, specifically with lease options and more now with seller finance stuff and creating those notes. But I'm known for lease options, specifically in the in the single family real estate space.
Okay, and how'd you get started?
Actually, I got started in 2003, but before that, I was a stock trader. I was a day trader. I was just a self-taught day trader. Okay. That's like saying I was a self-taught heart surgeon. It doesn't.
One of the same.
Yeah. So I was a self-taught day trader, and in 2000, so as everything was crashing, that's when I was trying to learn how to trade stocks. Mm-hmm. So obviously back then, the way I made money was buying puts. I started buying options and buying puts and selling covered calls. As I wanted to get into real estate, I was looking at real estate. There's so many different options in real estate. It's kind of like the stock market. There's a lot of similarities actually between trading stocks and real estate. First of all markets are cyclical, right? Yep. And we're seeing that now. And also in both the real estate and the stock market, if you're going to be playing in those arenas, you want to know where's your genius zone, where's your niche. So with stock market, you can have intraday traders. Back then we called them trading for teenies. This goes way back, Joe. I'm going to date myself, Joe. I was day trading back when we traded with fractions.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's
a ways back.
That's yeah. But so we trade for teenies back then. 1/16, 1/8, whatever. But then you've got also traders that do swing trading for 3 to 5 day increments.
Right.
You've got traders that trade transportation stocks or whatever. Well, they're very, very, very good at those niches. But if you try to reverse their roles and say, okay, you go over here, now you trade this way, they're going to fail miserably because it's not their thing. Same thing with real estate is you have so many different niches. You have commercial, apartments, raw land, single family. Well, is that wholesaling? Is that rehabbing, lease options, fix and flip, whatever the case may be. So I had to find where's my comfort zone. As I looked at rentals, because that was at the time, that was the first thing that popped up was, you buy a house, you go to the bank, get a loan to buy a house, then you put money in to fix it up, then you rent it out and you make $150 a month. And I thought, okay, that doesn't seem like really profitable. But
Yeah, enough money there.
yeah, I don't see that. Nothing. I'm not getting excited there.
Mhm.
But every now and then, Joe, the term lease option would come up. And I was like, wait a minute. Well, I know what an option is. I trade options every day. That's how I make my living, is trading options. So I looked into it, and it resonated with me. It's a short-term, lease with the option to purchase. Well, I'm like, well, that's what I do on the stock market.
Mhm.
And at the time, as I was reading about lease options, at the time, they were really used to take advantage of people. Hey, you get somebody into a house that has the down payment or the option
Right.
fee. You get them in the house. They're never gonna qualify. Then a year later, you kick them out. You get somebody else. You get some other dope in that has the money. We just do this over and over again. I thought, okay, well, that's not right. But the mechanics of a lease option, that's solid. I get that. Now, if you just build a business around the ideology of a lease option, so everybody wins, now you've got a business. And that's where Leasing to Buy was born in 2003. And I just started doing the deals, which I started driving for dollars, actually, which I didn't know there was a term for that. I was literally just putzing around, listening to some 80s music. Scorpions, Docking for your 80s fans out there.
So, they were good. They were good.
So and I would see a house that said for sale by owner. I would just call up, hey, whatever I said to him, God knows, would you consider doing a lease option on your house, or whatever I said to him? I don't know. We all have our bizarre horror stories of getting started.
Oh yeah, stumble your way into it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I'd cold call people for 2 weeks, that's a whole something else. But once I did the first deal, then I got the second deal. Then I started working with investors, helping them move their inventory. They would rehab it, like Home Investors of America. They would get the house, rehab it, bring it to me, and boom, I'd lease option it, and there you go. So I started building this machine to work with investors to help them move their inventory.
Now, how did you structure those leases, John? It was, can you kind of walk us through how you structured them when you were starting out, or you're doing now, I guess?
Yeah, and so the way I do them is very unique, in the sense of most people that teach lease options or how to do a lease option do it totally different than me, and because of that, their success rate is abysmal. Whereas mine is structured differently, so that our success rate is incredibly high. So over 90% of our buyers actually buy the house while they're in the house. That's very, very high. Yeah. So the way that we structure it, first of all, Joe, is, and this is really important for everybody to understand, I'm not working with crappy houses. These are not lean-tos, okay? These are nice, move-in ready houses. Like any of the houses we do, Joe, you would have no problem moving into yourself, right? So these are, like in this area, $300,000, $350,000, $400,000 house, right? It's not some $85,000 crack house. So that's very important, guys, is I work with a high quality product, okay? Mm-hmm. Something nice, move-in ready, no repairs needed. So you have that nice product, then you structure the numbers properly, which is what I teach, how to structure the numbers properly on a short-term lease purchase. So it's a 1 year, so 12 months, 1 year lease option. Now, why is it important? First of all, so you've got a nice quality product. Why is that important? Because that is going to attract a higher end buyer, right? A higher end clientele.
Sure.
And so that's important. So, okay, so what about structuring the numbers? Structuring the numbers, what I mean by that, Joe, is setting the option price where it needs to be, the lease payment, the option fee, setting all this where it needs to be, so that buyer, when they go to get finance, it flows very smoothly. You don't have an option price that way out in the stratosphere or something. And again, why all that is important is, at the end of the day, we want this buyer, this client that's coming to us, the end buyer. Excuse me, I've got allergies. Do you get allergies in LA?
Oh yeah, I get them really good when I go back to Texas, Nebraska. It's tough.
Oh my gosh. We want this buyer to be able to buy, to get financed. So that means we've got to have the numbers right, structured properly for the lender. And then as on the buying side for that buyer, we're very picky about who we let into the property.
Sure.
Now, most educators, Joe, will say, hey, if they've got the option fee, they're in. If they can fog a mirror and they've got the money, they're in, baby. Well, okay, that's a disaster.
That's how 2008, 2009 happened.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
a disaster. So
Yeah.
I'm very picky about who gets into our properties. I'm looking at debt to income. I'm looking at the tri-merge report, the overall file. What's it going to take to get them financed? So with this nice quality product, the numbers set properly, we're looking for this right avatar of buyer. Because of that, over 9% of our buyers get financed. But it's short term, 12 months, not 3 years, not 5 years, not 6 years. It's short term. Why would we do a short term lease option?
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, right. Well, a couple of reasons. One, the seller wants to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
They want to be cashed out. And so if we do a 12-month versus a 5-year, they're more likely to say, okay, yeah, let's do this, right? Also, if it's 12 months, we have to be pickier about this buyer coming in. And this buyer, man, when they sign that paperwork and they put that money down, the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
So we got to get them in touch with our loan officer and our lender pretty quickly so they can start getting things in place. If you go long term, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, life happens. And the odds of them financing on this house go down dramatically as that lease option goes on. Because if you've got a husband and wife that move in, and they'll go, it's the most perfect house. Oh, we love it. Okay. Well, then, over the course of 5 years, a lot can happen, Joe, right? Like, let's assume she gets pregnant. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now that maybe they need a bigger house, or maybe she gets pregnant and he's not the daddy. Ooh, okay. Now we got a divorce. Okay. So life
sounds like something from experience.
I've seen all kinds of things.
Yeah, I bet you have.
I actually had anyway. Yeah. We actually had a guy die in the house, but anyway. So I've seen all kinds of things, but the point is, you do a short term, not that much life can happen in a year, and it increases the odds of them buying, because this, you want to make, at the end of the day, you want to present this and package this that the seller wins, the buyer wins, and then of course you win.
Now, John,
but that's how we do
it. If they close earlier, let's say 6 months into it,
it doesn't change anything.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. The way we have it structured, it doesn't change if they close within 6 months, 10 months. Okay. But they only have 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your average price point on your homes?
I would put it about nationwide. It's gone up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say it's getting close to 400,000.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, you are focused. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And because what happens is when I started this off, Joe, and didn't know any better because there was no rule book on how to do lease options at the time.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm literally having to create this business from a idea in my head and having to learn the ropes the hard way. So I would do houses from like investors that I should have never done. Right. Like I remember one house in particular, they had redone the house. I didn't know they were done. And I walked in and the investor called me and said, are you at that house on Bedford Road? And I go, yeah, I'm here. I was looking at to lease option, and he goes, what do you think of that house? We did good, didn't we? And I go, well, yeah, I mean, as soon as you get the floors leveled, it'll be all right. He goes, well, we already had it leveled, this and that. It was a crap house. I said, well, if I get someone for this house, God forbid they have an aquarium, because the fish are going to fall out, right? Yeah. But you have that kind of a crap house, and you bring that to the market, you're not getting a true tenant buyer, a true buyer. What you're getting is you're getting a glorified renter. They just happen to have some money down because grandma died and left them $6,000. Yeah. Right. And so that's what I had to get away from. That's why I look at so I'll turn down houses. If a house needs repair, I don't care what the gurus tell you. If a house needs repair, you're better off doing a seller finance on it. Right. Now, do you guys finance on your own or no? So we have a finance company that we work with. Okay. That does it handles the mortgages for our buyers. Right. Now we do seller finance as well. We'll structure seller finance for sellers, and of course we do take property subject to, et cetera. But again, for the purpose of this episode, what I'm known for is the lease option. Right. And for the realtors out there, I know you've got a number of agents and realtors and brokers that are raving fans of Joe. Listen, guys, for all of you agents out there, you brokers, with the market we're in right now, And with what we're about to see, I cannot stress enough on how important it is that you start thinking outside of your little checkbox. And if it doesn't fit in this box, we can't do it. Get creative, guys. Your job as an agent or as a broker is to help these sellers, is to help these buyers. And that oftentimes means, especially now, get creative. You better learn how to structure a lease option. You better understand what seller finance is, because seller finance is the new Alt-A financing. As interest rates go up, seller finance becomes much more of a no-brainer for buyers and for sellers. So you've got to think outside the box. I go on a whole rant, Joe, about how.
Well, yeah, I think, we're seeing you're exactly on point, because, residential is slowing down. If you're an agent out there and you've got a listing and you're trying to figure out what to do with it, you got to find the business, right? No matter what, this is your livelihood. This is one way you can do it. I mean, maybe I don't know if they get paid on the lease for 1 year, but it's
they can structure a lease option.
Yeah.
And get paid on the option fee.
Yeah.
Option fees are what the buyer's bringing in. Yeah. And they get paid on the backside too, if they, however they want to structure with the agent, with the seller. But if they focus on helping the seller, helping the buyer, the money will flow. The money will come to them. But they've got to get creative. I had a friend of mine who's an agent, had a listing a month ago that she was dropping the price. I said, have you talked to him about seller finance? And she goes, no, I'll let you do that. Well, because they don't teach seller financing in real estate school. They don't teach lease options in real estate school. Why? Because that has nothing to do with MLS Hope for the Best. And so if they get out of that mindset and say, hey, well, I mean, read the book, the one, I've got it over here, The One Thing, Gary Keller. He is full in on investing and investors. And if agents and brokers, can wrap their head around that mindset of investing and helping people, then it makes your life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just think there's going to be, even if we do go into recession, which it looks like, if we're not, we're going there, but the people that have survived, I've been through, this will be my third or maybe even fourth one. I just soon not talk about that, but
wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, so when I'm referencing scorpions and docking in the 80s,
no, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah, and so I was going to say Microfiche too, because I had an interview the other day. We were talking to a kid about Microfiche, and he had never even heard of it. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's how we used to, public records.
Oh, Microfiche.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's explaining how we used to have. You didn't just log on a computer. But there's so many people, like, they could take a program like this and create opportunity for themselves in a down market, because 90% of the people aren't going to think about doing this. It's the top performers think like this. They have the mentality, the mindset to think, okay, so this is slowing, so where do I go? And that's why I thought this was so key to have you on the show, is because I think this is something that can really help our viewers and get them in that mindset like you have, and, look for the opportunity. And this is a great opportunity. I mean, if maybe you don't get your house sold right now, but you get leased out, and it's going to be sold in 12 months, and maybe rates are going to be down. Maybe they're going to be, it's tough to say, but this will work on commercial too.
Absolutely. And before we go into the commercial aspect of it, excuse me, when you think about if someone's got their house, say, on the market, well, you're marketing to a pool of people that's this big, right?
Yeah.
That are qualified and all pristine and everything. But if you say, okay, well, now I'm going to open it up to a lease option or seller finance, now you're marketing to a pool of people this big, right? And that helps the seller dramatically. So of course, if there's an agent or a broker listening right now, you've got to learn creative real estate because to help these sellers. Imagine being the only broker in wherever, say LA County, whatever, that says, hey, well, we have multiple ways to market your property, MLS, seller finance, lease option, whatever the case may be. But going into commercial lease options, from what everything I've read, everything I've researched, it shows that lease options actually got their start with commercial property, which actually makes actually makes sense how that would happen. I could see they're starting, and I don't know for 1,000% that's where it started, but I'm pretty sure it did. I could see lease options have even gotten their start with farmland, to be honest with you, with where you're leasing a piece of property to raise your cattle on with the option to buy that property. Farmer Brown is old or whatever. But same thing with commercial. You lease a building with the option to purchase it. So you can come in as an operator if you're operating a business out of that commercial building, leasing it with the option to purchase it. Matter of fact, if I was going to have an operation, a car shop, I don't know, something that has bays, and I'm going to lease this facility, I would definitely look at a lease option, because so you have that option to buy that property from that seller.
And you've got time to build your business. Something like that with the cars, you're going to go in, you're starting off. Now you've got time. If you're going to probably do a little longer lease in a year, but
for a commercial you go longer.
You go longer time, but it gives you an opportunity to build your business, so you get better terms at the bank, and it's a winning. Maybe you're going to pay a little bit higher price, but for the property, but it's
and as an investor, you can go in and say an apartment building, say a small, say a 16-unit apartment building, as an example. Instead of going, well, you probably wouldn't syndicate that, but instead of going to the bank and trying to come up with 20%, going to the commercial loan and blah 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 blah. You just 16-unit complex. You're just talking about an individual owner, right? And it's a person-to-person transaction, not going through a broker and all that stuff. And you buy it with a lease option, so that you're paying that, you're collecting the rents, but you're paying that owner, right? Now you're managing that unit, that property, but you can get in to a property for either no or very little money down using creative real estate.
I think it's just a great time to be looking at other options. I always thought this is a great way to do it. And I think that a good agent or a good owner of a property wants to get a little bit creative here in the next few months. It'll be a great time, and this is something they should be taking a look at.
Yeah, absolutely. The two, I'll say this, Joe, if anybody watching this has not seen the TV show Undercover Billionaire,
with Tillman.
They have got the one was the series I saw had maybe they've got another one now, but the series I saw, or the season I should say, had Grant Cardone, and then had two ladies on there. I feel bad that I don't remember their names because I wasn't familiar with them. But please take time to go watch the show Undercover Billionaire with Grant Cardone, or at least the season. Grant Cardone had these two ladies on there. And the premise of this show is they're given $100, flying off to the middle of nowhere, given a cell phone that doesn't have their business contacts in, and they're given a piece of crap car. They have 90 days to create a company valued at $1 million. They get $100, a cell phone, and a piece of crap car, in the middle of Pueblo, Colorado, or whatever random places. And it's a phenomenal show. Now, in this season, COVID hit, so they had to shut down. They had to come back and all this crap. Now, I think everybody should watch that, because not from the aspect, there's going to be a theatrical, entertainment value to it because it's TV. But if you just kind of push that to the side, okay, whatever. But you watch, what is the commonality of these three people, very successful people, multimillionaires? They all hit the target. What was the commonality between these three people on this show? If you watch it for that, I think it's fascinating. And the two things, there's three things that they all had in common. This is very important. One was creativity. You always have to be creative, thinking outside the box. For years and years, Joe, you don't even know this, but for 10 years of my life, I did stand-up comedy. And I used to write for, sending the jokes to VFX, to Jay Leno and Bill Maher and all that stuff. As a comedian, you get on this wavelength of your subconscious is always out there looking for funny stuff, right? Funny jokes. With business, you need to get your brain onto a frequency where it's always looking for creative opportunities. Because when crap hits the fan, it's creativity that's going to save your butt.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've always got to be creative. So the three things I had in common with this: creativity. And by the way, guys, creativity will always beat recklessly used money when it comes to marketing. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You give me creativity to do marketing, you give someone, $10,000 to do some campaign, I will beat them every time.
Yeah.
So creativity will always beat recklessly used money. The other thing they did was speed. When they saw an opportunity or created an opportunity, they didn't just go, well, that's kind of cute. No, they busted the door open. Now they didn't know where that opportunity was going to go, but they busted, and they busted hard. The third thing that they didn't do is they didn't fall back on the 6 words that kill. The 6 words that kill are what create our comfort zones. Yeah, but what if only? You never heard.
God. Yeah.
You never heard Grant Cardone with, create this opportunity and go, take a step back, go, yeah, but what would my wife say? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, you just do it,
Yeah.
and it's those things and those mindsets, and the way we think, that it's where when the market falls and crashes like that, the ones that survive and thrive, because that's what you want to do, is thrive, is the ones that get creative, they act quick, and they don't fall back on the 6 words that kill.
And I guarantee you, John, they knew their fundamentals. And I think, the last 11 years when the stock market, real estate's been going up and up and up, people were getting away from fundamentals because it was so easy to make money, right?
Oh, yeah.
In both. So I would bet that watching this show that these women went right back to their fundamentals and built their business.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal show. Again, if you can
check it out,
if you can push the entertainment, value away from, but watch on, okay, what are they doing? What do they have in common?
Yeah, those shows are great. And also, I don't know what Tillman Fertitta's show was, but it was $1 billion something or other. But he would go in and, well, I guess we're getting a little long. I got to run to a meeting.
I know we
Great
can go
show.
forever.
Check it out. Yeah, it's.
I've got his book right there. Yep.
Yeah, I just finished his book. Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
The other day. And
the Shut Up and Listen.
Yeah, exactly. Shut Up and Listen. Just finished it. And so he's something. And his show is very educational about starting a business, what you need to know. It's great. All of his sayings in those books are played true in the show too.
I'm gonna start watching that tonight.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. So I don't know if it's still, I think I have to go back and find it. It's probably on CNBC or one of those. But well, John, thank you very much. This is very educational. I think this is going to open some minds up to opportunities that they can create for themselves. And I think going forward in our economy, things aren't going to be as easy to do. You're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to be a real entrepreneur. And so, just like those 2 ladies were with Grant Cardone. So, John, you tell us, how do we find you?
Yeah, so you can go to, if you want to find out some of my training and just get a bunch of free stuff, you can go to freeleaseoptiontraining.com. There's a whole training there, a bunch of free downloads and stuff. But freeleaseoptiontraining.com is probably the best resource, just because there's so much free stuff there, free training and stuff. Yep.
Okay. And then what you can do is you send me that link. I'll put it on the bottom of this video.
Yeah,
and then
I will. I'll make sure
that way you can just Joe at joe@joekillinger.co, send that to me, and I'll make sure it goes up on the video. And so everybody can find you. And again, thank you, John, for coming on today. And for those of you watching, make sure you check out the video, give us a like. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe. Thank you, John.
Thank you.